All right, let's try this again. It was not working for some reason. It would not let me stream, and it looks like it's back online. Let me get set up here. The lovely technicalities of live streaming yoga. All right. Hopefully that works. Let's check in with my visual here. Visual here. Here we go. All right. So, this is one of those spontaneous moments of life. So, happy Sunday if this is live for you. If you're watching it at a later time, happy moment, anyways. So, my regular beach yoga class was scheduled for tonight at 6 p.m. here in South Florida. And I'm usually pretty good at watching the weather and the radar. And we go to, or I arrive to go teach this class, and in comes this massive, severe thunderstorm with lightning, thunder, and the whole bit. So, needless to say, the class got canceled. So, here we are as backup. And I decided to keep the energy flowing and still do a practice and lead a flow. So, if you guys are jumping in here tonight from beach yoga, awesome. And if you want to watch this later and practice even more than once, awesome too. I'm going to do it anyways and offer this, as I do all the other classes that are also on this page. Oh man, so this is also ironically my first day that I was going to be back on the beach in man over well in the last month. I've been on and off health wise and having some interesting health things going on. A lot of people ask if it's COVID. Honestly, I have no answer quite yet, although I did experience a lot of COVID symptoms. I did get negative tests. It's an ongoing mystery of what's going on with my health. But I was really excited to go back to the beach today and be with the class and the community and lead a practice. And of course, the spirit had other plans. So one of the most beautiful things about the yoga practice is that I feel it continuously teaches us to be in surrender and let go of our plans and always just go with the flow. So I'm used to that and it's okay. Um, I'm still going to do a thing here in my home. So if you're joining me here right now, again, welcome. Thanks for being here. And if you're watching this later, again, also thanks for being here. All right. So, no plan as always. I usually just flow intuitively. However, it's always a little tricky being separated by technology and, here tuning into whatever energy's flowing because I like to feel what's going on with whoever I'm flowing with, usually, and leading according to whatever I feel is going on in our environment energetically. Since it's just me, here I am with myself and what's going on within my body. So I'm going to do something, that I feel could benefit all of us, but also tuning into my own body in this moment and feeling what it could benefit from. And I'll just share my practice with you. Okay. So, with that said, um, if you're not already in comfortable clothes, go ahead and put yourself in your pajamas. You don't have to match, you don't have to wear a mask. You're hopefully in your own comfortable space. Just throw on whatever or nothing. It's all good. And find yourself in a comfortable seat. with a tall spine. Now, if you have any issues sitting on the flat ground, if you're joining me for the first time, I also like to use props. So feel free to use yoga block, feel free to use a meditation pillow or a regular pillow or anything, a towel that could prop your hips up from the earth a little bit. You know what? I'm going to use a block for some extra comfort. My body is admittedly pretty stiff as well. I haven't been moving so much in the last month due to my physical conditions. So, yeah, I need this too. We all need this. All right. So, ideally, knees are lower than hips when you're starting a breathing pranayama or meditation practice. So go ahead and lengthen the spine. Find a nice comfortable seat. Allow your shoulders to roll back and down. And go ahead and find your palms wherever they feel comfortable. They can be on your lap, they can be on your knees, facing up or down. I want you to tune in right now, intuitively feel what position your body wants to be in here. Go ahead and close your eyes. Relax your jaw muscles. Bring your awareness to your belly. And when you breathe in on your next inhale, go ahead and allow your diaphragm to fill, dropping down and out. So breathing in, down into the diaphragm, into the ribs, and then into the chest, in that order. And then exhale, let your chest empty, let your ribs deflate, and let your navel draw in toward the spine. So we're going to do this a few times, as always, just turning on our breath. Inhale, let the belly fill. Let the ribs fill, chest inflate. Exhale, empty the chest, the ribs, and the belly. Keeping the mouth closed. Again, inhale through the nose, fill your belly, your ribs, and the chest. Exhale, empty the chest, ribs. We'll do this a few more times. Allow the breath to be fluid and at your own pace. So if I'm going too fast or too slow, go ahead and find a fluid rhythm for you. Inhale into the belly, the ribs, and the chest, sitting up as tall as you can, softening the shoulders. Exhale, empty the chest, the ribs, the belly. And again, finding your own pace. We'll do a few more. Adding the Ujjayi breath, though, now on these last few. So on the Ujjayi, or rather, when we're adding the Ujjayi sound, it's like fogging a mirror with the mouth closed. So making that sound in the back of the throat. You can go ahead and close your eyes and maybe 3, 4 more breaths like that. Go ahead and finish one more full, complete breath in, filling the belly, the ribs, and the chest. Breathing in even deeper, hold your breath in for a moment. And then exhale firmly, empty the chest, the ribs, and the belly. Hold your breath out for a moment. Squeeze all the breath out and pull the navel in and up. So pull your belly button in and up. Hold if you can without straining. Inhale in. Sit up tall, hold your breath in. Soften your shoulders, soften your face. And then we're going to let that breath out super slow, exhaling out of the nose, maybe for a count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. Go ahead and release something, anything that might be underneath you, sitting flat on the earth. We're going to go ahead, bring the hands to the knees, bring the knees together, curl yourself into a little ball. I'm going to go ahead and face the front of my mat now. Just curl yourself into a little bit of a ball. Hug your body in here. Take a nice deep breath. Nice full exhale. Lift your face. Lean back onto your sits bones, and we're going to just start with a little balance right away, waking up our core. So, leaning back onto the sits bones, rounding your back a little bit, and we're going to find some balance using our transverse abdominals. So, holding the navel in. Now, if you roll back on your mat, that's okay. Just rock back up. So, sometimes you might go, oops, go ahead and just rock back up and find that balance point on your sits bones. Find your core working to balance yourself here. Just holding, draw the shoulders down. Now stay with your breath. So you might be shaking a little bit just to hold this position. That's okay. Go ahead and lift your legs up a little bit more. Maybe the feet are out in front of you, holding behind the knees. And then if you want to go right into Navasana, you can bring your legs up if you have the flexibility of the hamstrings. And then we're all going to release the hands. So whether the knees are bent or the legs are straight, we're waking up those abdominals, waking up that core. Keep breathing. Fire up the breath. Now, Ujjayi breath even more. Inhale through the nose. Exhale out of the nose. If you can, one more breath with me. Inhale. And then on your exhale, go ahead and bend your knees, cross your ankles, roll through, and bring yourself back to the center of the mat. From here, tuck the toes under. Pull your navel in, lift your chin and chest, opening up as you breathe in. And on your exhale in the opposite direction, untuck your toes, press through the palms, chin to the chest, exhale completely. Inhale again, tuck the toes under, pull the shoulders back, arch your back, sits bones to the sky, gaze goes to the sky, chin goes up, stretch the front of the neck even. And exhale again in the opposite direction, press the upper back toward the sky, chin to the chest, tuck the tailbone under. Exhale, completely press, 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 stretch. Come back to a nice long spine, looking between your thumbs. Open up those fingers nice and wide. Tuck the toes back underneath. Pull the shoulder blades back away from the ears. Pull your belly button back toward the spine. We're going to press into the toes, lift the knees, hovering the knees. Shoulders are still over the palms, pulling those shoulders back. Breathe in. And on your exhale, start to shift your weight back toward the heels, keeping the knees bent, finding a little charging dog. So a downward facing dog with bent knees, we bring the chest back to the thighs, scoop the sits bones up higher, biceps are in line with the ears, let the head hang freely like a bowling ball. Now, if your heels started to turn in, see if you can bring those heels to face straight back. Again, chest towards your knees. We're going to lift those hips up a little higher. Now, lifting, straightening the legs, pressing your chest back toward your thighs. Breathe in. And on your exhale, press your heels down toward the earth. Now, they might not come down today if your hamstrings are really tight. Keep a little bend in your knees instead of rounding your back. Otherwise, press those hips back, press the heels down, and work on finding your way into a nice downward facing dog. Keeping those fingers spread and the arms straight and even further into the heels. Good. Let's go ahead and come forward to plank again. So inhale forward, the shoulders come over the palms, holding nice and strong. And maybe even the shoulders slightly forward. So as we come down into Chaturanga Dandasana, we want to keep those shoulders forward. Okay, so holding, nice breath in. And then exhale, if you need to, you can lower your knees down to the ground or keep them lifted, but we're going to come down for Chaturanga. Elbows come in toward the body. See if you can stop at 90 degrees. Now, if you need to come all the way down to the ground, that's fine. I'll show you a couple options here. Straighten the legs, reaching out through strong legs. Pull the shoulders back. First option is baby cobra or cobra. Staying here with the pelvis on the ground, pulling the shoulders and elbows back. Second option would be all the way through to our upward facing dog or Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. If you're coming in upward facing dog, press firmly into the hands, lift the head from the shoulders, bringing your gaze slightly up, keeping those legs strong, and then exhale, you can tuck the toes under, lift the hips and press back, downward facing dog. Now, if you need to transition with your knees from there, you can do that as well. You can always press up to the knees first and then draw back. So we're going to have that little sequence going on through the practice today. For now, let's go ahead and bend the right knee and press back through the left heel and hip. So bringing more weight into that left leg now, pressing that left leg back, breathing into the hamstring, hip, calf, whatever you need that stretch to be. Breathe in, and then as you exhale, nice and slow switch. Right leg straightens, More weight in that right foot, pressing that right hip back away from the right hand. Chest is still pressing back, head is hanging freely. Come to center, come high on your toes. Lifting up as you breathe in, look between your hands. Strong arms, strong legs. On your exhale, press your hips and heels back, nice and firm. Again, let's come forward to a plank position. Nice inhale, feel free to lower to your knees here. Exhale, we're gonna lower down with the elbows in, so you can keep those knees lifted, maybe trying that. Stop at 90 degrees if possible. If you need to come all the way down, you can. Inhale to cobra, or again, upward facing dog. I just showed both options. Choose one. Exhale, back to downward facing dog. One more time. So feet should be hip width apart and parallel. Head is hanging freely again like a bowling ball. We're going to walk the hands back toward the feet, all the way back. Now, if you notice your toes are turned out, you guys turn them forward, and let's just hang like a rag doll. So we got a little blood flowing, our heart rate got up just a little. Soften your knees now, and let's just surrender here for a few breaths. Feel free to close your eyes. Feel free to clasp your opposite elbows. Feel free to clasp your hands behind the back of your head and maybe tuck your chin gently. I want you to just take the time to breathe slow through the nose. Again, soften your knees so we're not pulling ourselves in. We're just melting here toward the earth. Feel your body. Feel your hamstrings, your hips. Feel wherever the tension is. Feel your breath. Slow it down. Let's go ahead and sway all the weight into that right leg. Let all your body weight come to that right foot, keeping the left heel on the ground though, and just melt into that right side for a moment. Take a deep breath. Let's switch over to the left side, nice and slow, shifting your body weight to the left foot. Right heel stays on the ground. All the weight is just draping into that left side. Take a deep breath. Don't hold your breath. Don't clench the jaw. Big inhale and slowly exhale back to center. So weight is distributed evenly between left and right foot. Shift some weight toward your toes. Shift some weight towards your heels. You're even getting traction in the neck through the spine, just allowing the head to drop toward the ground. Now we're going to find the weight in between the heels and the toes. Bring your fingertips alongside your toes and find a flat back. So lifting the chin and chest, bend your knees if you have to here, you guys. So if you're rounding your back and you're really tight in the hamstrings, I want you to bend your knees, bring your chest forward, pull the shoulders back, okay? Eventually you can straighten the legs. Even if you're shaking a little bit, go ahead and extend the chest forward. Take a breath in. And then a long exhale, fold in toward your legs. Good. From here, we're going to sink those hips down like you're going to sit back into a chair. Bring your weight through to the heels, come light on the toes, and sweep your hands up toward the sky, finding Utkatasana. Now, if this is awkward for you, go ahead and come to standing first. Take a moment, and then go ahead and bring your hands to your hips. Sit back, again, like you're going to sit into the edge of a chair. All right, the very edge of a chair behind you. Then reach those hands up, like you're holding a beach ball above your head, spreading your fingers. See if you can get the hands way above the head and pull the shoulders down your back. Sit down a little more into the heels. Keep those legs parallel. We're waking up the lower body now, so those hips are burning, the hamstrings are burning, or the quads are burning. I know. Take a deep breath in. And then exhale. We're going to come halfway down. Hands come back behind. On the inhale, sweep the arms back forward and up. Stay low in the hips. Fingers are open and spread. Exhale. Nice strong breath. Inhale, hands up. With the breath. Exhale, hands up. One more. And then exhale, take it forward. All the way out. Let the head go. On your inhale, look to the front of your mat. Find that flat back again. So bend your knees if you have to, extending the chest forward. And then bring the hands down and walk yourself over to a plank position. Find your plank. Shoulders forward over the palms. Nice and strong through the legs. Exhale, lower down, elbows in. Come through to upward facing dog or cobra. Nice full deep breath in, opening that front body. Exhale back, downward facing dog. Very good. Nice little warm up. Come down to the knees, hands and knees coming to all fours. Go ahead and sit back on your heels. Take a moment of rest. Take a moment of breath. So I didn't focus too much on the breath at the beginning, but I kind of want to get back into that in this moment because it is such an important thing for me over the last month. I didn't talk about it much in this video, but one of the things that I struggled with the most over the past month is not being able to breathe. So I have a whole new appreciation for the breath again. It feels like again and again in our life we have reminders of things that we have on a daily basis. And I've actually taught about the breath and the importance of the breath for the last decade. And I got another reminder of for myself. So with that said, let's take a moment and enjoy the breath in Dhyana. Now keeping yourself, if you can, sitting back on the heels so you're getting an ankle stretch as well, maybe a little bit of a quad stretch. Let's turn the palms to face up, palm over palm in the lap, shoulders roll back, close the eyes. And if you'd like to add a little alternate nostril breathing, you can do that as well. I'm actually going to do that. So go ahead and right nostril off with your thumb. Take a breath in through your left nostril. Close off your left nostril with your ring finger and exhale out of the right. Using your right hand. Again, inhale into the right nostril. Close it off. Exhale out of your left. Lengthen your spine if you're slouching. Inhale into the left nostril. Close it off. Exhale out of the right. Inhale one more time into the right nostril. Close it off. Exhale out of the left. Good. Bring both hands back to the legs, palms facing down. Nice long spine. Take a deep breath through both nostrils. And nice long Ujjayi exhale out. Bring your palms down to the earth, rolling forward. Open up the knees, tuck the toes under, and sit back on your heels with the palms facing down. So opening up the arches of the feet and the ankles. I don't know if you guys are, or if this is still recording. It looks like I might have frozen. Let me check in with the stream and make sure it's still going. It might be my internet. It might be YouTube. I'm not sure. Okay. Looks like it's still going. All right. So hands on the thighs. If you're still here with me, when you're ready, hands up. Deep breath in. We're going to lean back a little bit. Tuck the tailbone. Keep the core tight. Leaning back. You're going to feel the abdominals engaging there. And then exhale. Bring the hands down to the ground. You can tap your feet there. I know that's sometimes intense on the ankles and the arches of the feet. It's really good. All right, we're going to stretch the tops of the feet, pressing firmly into the palms, maybe stretching the toes. You might get a little adjustments there in the digits and the toes. If that's too much for you, stay low. Otherwise, you can roll straight back to downward facing dog. If you need to come to your knees first, then tuck the toes and do that, you can do that as well. Go ahead and draw back into your downward facing dog. Paddle your legs a little bit. We'll take a couple breaths just going ahead and walking the dog out. You can drop your hips to the side of the bent knee, staying with your breath. And when you're ready, come back to center. Again, making sure those fingers are nice and wide, spread open, pressing down firmly through the finger pads. Finish a nice exhale. We're going to come into side planks, waking up the core a little more. So go ahead and come forward, bring the feet together. We're going to start by rolling to the right side of the mat. You can bring your left hand to your hip. All right, now if this is too much on your wrist or on your shoulder at all, you can always lower down to the right knee. All right, otherwise, stacking on that right side of the mat, stacking the ankles, stacking the hips and shoulders. If you can, bring your gaze up. Reach your left hand to the sky. Now steady the breath, pull the shoulders back. Elongate the entire spine, reach the left hand over the head, and lift your right hip further from the ground. Breathing in nice and slow. And again, you can always lower down to one knee or even step your left foot out in front for some extra support. Keep the eyes steady. Keep the breath steady. Nice and slow. Find your way to plank one more time and draw back for downward facing dog. Find rest. We're going to do the other side when you're ready. Come forward to plank, inhaling, feet together, roll to the left. When you're ready, exhale, bring that hand over the head. And again, you can always lower to the knee or step the right foot out in front of you. Otherwise, keep pulling shoulders down. Stay with your breath. Steady. Right arm comes up, breathe in. And then exhale, right hand down to plank. Hold your plank this time. Nice breath in. On your exhale, lower to Chaturanga Dandasana. Feel free to use your knees. Inhale through to Cobra or Upward Facing Dog. Breathing in, opening, full breath. Back to Downward Facing Dog. Nice long exhale again. Use that breath as a resting place. We're going to come to the front of the mat, walking the feet forward this time. Bring your feet together at the top of your mat. Don't move your hands. Come all the way forward. On your inhale, we're going to lift up halfway. Together, you can bring your hands to your shins if you need to. You can always use yoga blocks as well. If you have them, you can place 2 blocks out in front of you. Find some extension of the spine. Take a nice breath in. And then exhale, fold back into your legs, tucking the face to complete that. Now we're going to come to standing. If you need to, you can bend the knees here. Otherwise, you're going to pull your navel in and up. That means belly button in and up. Nice, strong back. Arms come all the way up, touching the palms above your head, looking up. And on your exhale, open the arms like wings. Bring the hands down by your side. Good. Now I can tell my head's cut off in the video, so I apologize to you guys. We're going to bring hands together, heart center, pulling the shoulders down, drawing the inner thighs toward one another, pulling the navel in and up. Spread your toes. This is a nice, important pose here called Tadasana or mountain pose. So just holding this pose is already affirming to your body that you're standing strong and at attention. So mostly throughout the day, right, our posture can be very uneven, unbalanced, and not present. But this pose alone, you're drawing up that earth energy. It's mountain pose. You're literally pulling that earth energy up from the earth into the legs, into the center of the body, into the heart, into the crown, and connecting to heaven through this pose alone. So really standing in presence and in strength with your breath, with your dristi, with your intention. Exhale firmly. On your next breath, go ahead and reach those hands out and up. Full inhale. You're going to scoop the air around you. Look up. On your exhale, take it forward all the way through, finishing your breath as you exhale, or as you fold in, rather. Inhale, come up halfway. Again, lengthening through that spine first. Palms down to the ground. You can step or even jump your way back to a plank position. We're going to do a vinyasa. Lower down with your elbows, hugging the body, chest forward. Come through to upward facing dog or cobra, opening the heart, lifting the gaze. Lift your head from the shoulders by pressing firmly into the palms. And then exhale, lift your hips using the core. Draw back again for downward facing dog. Good. Doing all these movements with complete attention. We're going to keep the left foot down, lift your right leg, flex the foot, spread the toes, keep the hips square for now. So you might have the craving to open up that hip. See if you can keep it low to the ground for now. And just work on pressing the heel, the back of your foot up toward the ceiling, keeping that right hip square toward the mat. Now keep pressing through that left foot as well, getting a big stretch in that left calf and hamstring. One more breath in. On your exhale, just bend your right knee, pull the knee to the nose, round and curl. Inhale, you're going to kick that right foot back and up in the air again, keeping the hips square to the ground, pressing it up even higher. And then exhale, we're going to look forward and step right foot between the hands. Now here you can come to your fingertips. You can lift that knee up toward the body and then bring that foot forward. Now when you strengthen the core a little more, but you don't have to lift to the fingertips. You can just go ahead and bring it up. But of course, that's a little more challenging until you get that inner core strength. So go ahead. Come right foot forward between the hands. You can lower the back knee here to the ground or keep it lifted. But we're going to press into that right foot and lift up. hands up over the head. Now, if that was too hard again, you can lower to that back knee, lift the hands up, and then maybe try lifting, pressing through the heel. Up to you. Fingers are spread, reaching up, lifting those hands. Nice breath in on your exhale. Go ahead and bend your elbows, squeeze the shoulders back, open the chest here. As you bend into that right knee, also pull the navel in and up, open the chest a little bit, maybe lift your gaze toward the ceiling slightly, and focus on opening up the heart. Now breathe, because I know I'm also starting to break a sweat here, so you probably are too. So nice full deep breath in, shoulders pulling back, nice open heart. And then exhale, frame out that right foot one more time with your hands. We're going to pick right foot back and up in the air. So pick it up, maybe don't drag the foot. So press into your palms the way you got the foot up there. Lift that knee into the body. Bring your right foot up. And now I want you to open up the right hip. So now we can turn the right toes to the right. Lift the right hip bone even higher as you press back and bend your right knee. So you're going to feel a nice stretch through the quad and hip flexor just by pulling the right heel in toward the left hip. Breathe. Go ahead and lift that right leg back up toward the sky. Square the hip one more time. And then let's go ahead and come forward to three-legged plank or 3 points of contact. So holding here, okay? Now from here, see if you can bring right knee to your right tricep. So exhale. And then inhale, we're going to bring your right leg back and up in the air. Right knee to left tricep across the body. Right leg back and up in the air. And one more time, we're going to step right foot between the hands all the way up. Good. Now over to the back knee. Untuck your back toes and let's get into the hips a little bit. Walk your right foot over to the right side of your mat. Bring your right hand to the inside of your right foot. You can come down to your palms or stay on your fingertips, making little teepees if you'd like, whatever is easier for you. Pulling right knee into the tricep and letting those hips drop low. So you're going to feel a big stretch in the right hip and maybe even in the front of your left. Pull your shoulders back. Slow down your breath, soften your facial muscles. Now, if this is intense for you or a little difficult to get in this position, again, you can always elevate yourself with some yoga blocks. They're super helpful. Otherwise, just breathing into this right hip, allowing that energy to move through, especially with your exhales, practicing those firm exhales, pulling the navel in toward the spine. It happens naturally with that Ujjayi breath. Good. From here, we're going to come back out of it. So you can lift out of that a little, tuck your back toes under, bring your palms flat to the ground. And without dragging this right foot, if it's possible, you're going to lift your back knee and send your right leg back and up in the air. So picking up that right foot, bring it back and up in the air. Now a little more advanced option here. If you'd like to, we're going to flip the dog. That means right foot is going to come back behind you. Step it behind you. Right arm comes up and over the head or out to the right. So just a little bit of a back bend. Could be kind of a side bend if you want. Super liberating. Nice full breath in. And then slowly come back around with control. Right hand is going to come back to the ground. Right leg back and up in the air. And let's go ahead and see if we can bring right knee to left tricep. One more time. Now from here, step your right foot out to the left. This one's intense. Big stretch through that right hip. All right, now if you can, keep the right hip off of the ground. I know that's intense. One more breath here. And then turn your left heel in. Open up the left arm. Nice full breath. And come back around. Right hand down to the ground. Right leg back and up in the air. Pick it up. Bring it up. And let's lower it down to the ground. Downward facing dog. Come forward to plank. Inhale. Feel free to lower your knees. Exhale. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog or cobra. Inhale. Feel free to modify. Back to downward facing dog. All right. Let's go ahead and take a break between that sequence and the other side. Sit back on your heels. Shoulders draw down the back. Palms facing up. Close your eyes. Get back into your breath if you lost it. Or just take a moment to breathe. If you want to practice mudra, please feel free. If you're not familiar with mudra, of course, just rest and focus on those Ujjayi breaths that we did at the beginning of the practice and hopefully throughout the practice as well. So longer, fuller, deeper breaths in through the nose, into the belly, the ribs, and the chest. Finding a pause at the top of your breath before releasing. Exhale, empty the chest, the ribs, and the belly. The more you practice that breath throughout the asana practice, the more you'll have a habit of doing that breath, and even throughout the day in your daily life. And that's a super, super beneficial practice for you to have. I would say it's probably one of the most beneficial practices to have. All right, so now that we've got the nervous system back into a nice calm space, let's go ahead, lift the gaze again. Nice soft facial muscles as much as possible through our practice. Even if we're straining, always try to keep the jaw muscles soft and relaxed. Bring the hands down to the ground. We'll find our way back to a downward facing dog and do the other side. When you're ready, lift up and press back nice and strong. You should feel nice and strong now that we've had some rest. Let's break this up a little bit. Inhale, let's come high on the toes. Lift the heels. Full breath in. Exhale, draw back one more time. Find a little more depth in your downward facing dog. And again, inhale, come high on your toes. Let's look forward, walk, step, or if you'd like to try jumping to the hands, go ahead. Hop yourself to the hands. Bring your feet together. On your inhale, again, lift up halfway. Chest forward, shoulders back. Take that breath, exhale, fold. Let's rise to standing. Again, you can bend your knees if you need to. Otherwise, navel in, belly and arms up. Touch your palms above the head. Look up. Exhale, open the arms like wings. And if anything, bring those hands back as you lower the hands down by your sides. Complete that with hands back together, heart center, in Tadasana. Back to where we kind of started. Finding that Tadasana, feeling the presence of your feet grounded into the earth. Feel your ankles drawing toward one another. Again, the inner thighs drawing in and up. Shoulders drawing down. Let's take a strong breath in. And a complete breath out. On your inhale, again, arms sweep out and up. Full breath. Exhale, let's take it forward. Inhale, halfway up. Palms to the ground, walk, step, or jump back to plank. So if you want to try jumping back this time. And lower down. Upward facing dog or cobra, inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. Good. Now this time, keeping right heel grounded, left leg is going to lift up. And here, keep your left inner thigh drawing towards your right inner thigh. Right heel pressing back, and left heel is lifting. But again, we're not lifting the hip yet. We're just lifting the heel. So you should feel the left hamstring engaged, even the top of the left glute engaged. Right calf might be getting a nice stretch there. One more breath. Left knee to the nose, round and curl. Exhale, pull the knee from the ground. Left leg back and up in the air again. Lifting it up. Good. Exhale, step the left foot between your hands. And again, you can come to your fingertips or your palms all the way up. Take a moment. You can lower your back knee down to the ground or not. Look forward. When you're ready, press into your left foot. Lift the hands up over the head. Good. Draw those shoulders down. So sometimes when we're tense, the shoulders go up toward the ears, even throughout the day. If you can, soften them, pull them back. Keep pressing through the right heel. Nice breath in. And then on your exhale, go ahead and bend your elbows. As you bend your elbows, pull the shoulders down, pull those elbows back. Open the chest, shift your gaze up a little bit. Keep pressing into your left big toe. So that'll help your balance here. As you press down through your left big toe, grounding through that foot, as well as pressing back through the right heel. Staying with that Ujjayi breath. Eyes are steady. One more inhale, nice open chest. And then exhale, bring the hands down to the ground. Good. From here, let's go ahead and bring left foot back and up in the air. Reach it up. Good. Open up your left hip. Bend your left knee. See if you can pull left heel in toward right hip. Very good. Extend your left leg up. Squaring that hip toward the ground. Rotating the toes down. Come forward to a plank position, keeping the left foot lifted. Now from here, we're going to bring left knee to left tricep. Left leg back and up in the air. Left knee to right tricep. Exhale. Left leg back and up in the air. And then go ahead and step your left foot back and between your hands. Lower the back knee down to the ground, untuck your toes, and walk your left foot over to the left. Slide your left hand to the inside of your foot and allow your hips to drop forward. And again, if you need those yoga blocks, you can always place them under so you can get some elevation there. Otherwise, work on softening the chest, pull the shoulders back, and allow those hips to drop down. So you're getting a big hip stretch in the left side and the right side. Deepen your breath, don't hold it. For now, again, keep pulling shoulders back, keep pulling the left knee into the left arm. Sometimes it wants to go out, that's a different stretch. For here, just keep it in. Good. One more breath, allowing those hips to drop down. Good. Flatten your palms, tuck your back toes under. Lift your back knee. Make sure those hands are directly underneath the shoulders, and without dragging your left foot, if it's possible, pick it up and bring it back and up in the air. Open up your hip, and we did it on the other side. If you chose to do it, go ahead and flip your dog. Left foot comes back behind you, left arm opens up, maybe over the head, maybe back behind you a little bit. Doesn't have to be that long. Nice full breath. Come back around when you're ready. Deep full inhale, left palm down, left leg lifts up. And then go ahead and lower that left foot down to the ground. Hips back, come forward to a plank position, and lower down, Chaturanga. Upward facing dog or cobra as you breathe in. Full inhale, and then exhale back to downward facing dog. Good, again, let's go ahead and lower down to the knees. Sit back on the heels. Find your way back to Dhyana. Closing the eyes if you'd like to, or keeping them open, it's up to you. Just finding a little pause in the practice. So it's very easy, we could go fast, we could do a whole quick vinyasa power flow, but I find that sometimes there's more benefit in allowing the spaces between that movement to also exist, and allowing yourself to rest within those spaces. Not just physically, but we're resting mentally as well. So watch your breath, watch the thoughts that arise within those spaces. If your mind wanders to the past or to the future, bring it back to the breath. Feel for the quality of your breathing. A lot of times when the mind is very busy, your quality of breath will be short and shallow. Finish a nice full breath in. Let your belly completely inflate. Almost press the breath down into the diaphragm if you need to. Stretch it. And then exhale, empty. Squeeze all that breath out. Good, we're gonna bring the hands back down to the ground one more time. Re-engage into our downward facing dog, tucking the toes under and finding your way back. So each time we come back here, it's like renewed strength, right? You should feel a little stronger every time, a little more open, a little more present. We're gonna come to the front of the mat like we did before. Come high on your toes. Look forward, bend your knees. We're gonna walk, step, or jump to the front. Whatever you're comfortable with. Inhale when you're ready. Lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold in. This time we're gonna bend both knees. We did it at the beginning. We're coming back to Utkatasana, and the knees are together on this one. Hands up. Exhale, sit down. So sitting down a little further. Good, let's bring our hands together, cross the thumbs, stand up, breathe in. Exhale, hips forward, thumbs back. Little bit of a back bend. Back up to center, breathe in. Exhale, let's slowly lower our hands down to the center of the chest, finding Tadasana. You can close your eyes here or keep them open, taking a nice full breath in, a nice long complete breath out. We're gonna find our way into a twist. So chair twist, bend the knees back to Utkatasana, and this time we're gonna bring left elbow to the outside of the right knee. So I'm just gonna show you turning here. So sitting back in our Utkatasana, right? Left elbow to the outside of the right knee. If you wanna place your hand there first, you can. Now sit those hips a little lower if possible, and then bring your palms together. Now what we're trying to do here is bring the hands to the center of the chest as much as possible, turning the right shoulder over the left, looking up past that right elbow and breathing. Now what you want to keep doing is pulling that left knee back so it has a tendency to come forward. Pull it back so those knees stay in the same line And look up and breathe. Shoulders pull down, one more breath. Finish your exhale. Hold it. Come back to center, hands at heart center. Inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, let it go. Forward fold. Long breath. Now, I might make that look easy. It's not easy. So if you're like, wow, that was really hard, it is. But the point is to find that challenge and see if you can soften into it. So we're going to do the other side. So right when you want to clench the jaw, right, and let go of it, that's when our opportunity to find that rest within challenge occurs. So go ahead and find your way to the other side. Right elbow to the outside of the left knee this time. Keeping the right knee from coming forward. Hands together. So yes, the legs are burning. Yes, we want to hold the breath. Maybe you want to breathe short, shallow breaths. No, breathe longer. Keep your eyes up past that left elbow. Stay there. Let the legs shake. It's okay. Inhale. Find your edge. Let's take one more breath if it's okay. Stay with it. Good. Back to center. Inhale, hands to heart center. Let it go. Exhale. All the way. Sometimes the first thing to give out is the mind, right? We have these edges. Our mind says, no, we can't do that. We have to get out of it. But sometimes when we go, oh, it's okay, mind. Like, I'm going to push myself today. I want to see. I think I can do this. It's amazing what we end up achieving sometimes. All right, you guys, open up the feet, hip width apart. Allow yourself to hang like we did at the beginning. If you're not already, let yourself go for a moment. I want you to just feel totally relaxed here if that's possible. And if it's not, if you feel so much tension, all right, I will invite you to bend the knees a little bit. Breathe into wherever that tension is and see what it has to say. Because sometimes the tension is mental. Again, it's a mental and emotional block. And our fascia of the body actually starts to hold all of that mental and emotional stagnant energy or fiery energy, whatever is coming up for you, if anything. And see if you can just soften into it. Allow the breath to move through. Continue to surrender. So we're adding some yin elements into our practice. Couple more breaths. If your feet are turned out, I want you to turn your toes forward or even slightly inward. Soft knees, so no hyperextended legs here. I want you to bend your knees a little bit. Totally relaxing. One more breath. Good. And then go ahead and place your hands on the ground. We're going to turn the toes out. Bend your knees and come down into a Malasana. You might want to open up your feet a little bit, getting them wider. Let the hips go down toward the ground. Now we're getting into a different stretch here. So from here, nice open knees. Now you can bring your hands down to the ground and allow your head to also start to drop down toward the ground. Or some of you might be able to get your elbows down on the ground. Now if you feel this in your knees, don't come down so deeply. Okay, you can also stay here in Malasana, but I'm giving you the option of coming down a little bit. So kind of use your intuition and feel. Either way, getting into those hips as well. So we're feeling the stretch maybe in the inner thighs, maybe in the outer hips. Everyone feels it differently. So you can stay up and over, hands to heart center, or down. Good. One more breath in. And then exhale, everyone bring the hands down to the ground. So if you're low, go ahead and come up. From here, I'm going to give you guys the option to get into crow or arm balance if you'd like to. Little fun balancing on the hands if you want. Turn your toes forward, come up onto your toes or onto the balls of your feet. Bring your hands down, keep your elbows bent, and place the knees, okay, above the elbows. So the higher you can get your knees, the better for this pose. Now you want to also have strong Chaturanga arms, so don't let those elbows come out to the side, just like we do in Chaturanga. Keep the elbows back toward the body, so almost scooping in toward one another. Knees go into the arms as high as you can, up into those arm bones. Look forward, and all you're going to do is rock your weight forward. Now you want to look out in front of your hands, not down, out in front. Your fingers turn into toes or hands turn into feet. You grip the ground a little bit. Keep those elbows in. Pull one heel up toward your hip and maybe the other, and maybe the toes come to touch. So maybe just today you work on one foot at a time and see if you can actually breathe. Maybe alternate your feet. And then eventually, maybe both feet at the same time. And then maybe you can take 3 to 5 breaths there. So at first, it's a journey, right? You can start with one foot, the other, and then maybe you're like, holy crap, I did it, and you come back down. That's okay. But eventually, whatever pose we're in, all right, whether it's an easy one or a challenging one, we want to find that balance of steadiness and comfort. So finding that place, if you're in it, finding a couple breaths if possible, not reacting whether you get it or you don't. Very important. Always keeping that place of equanimity. Coming back down when you're ready, go ahead and find your way back to plank. Let's do a vinyasa together. Nice inhale in. We're going to clear, so you can lower down to the knees if you want. Again, always an option to modify. Move with your breath. Inhale brings you up to open that front body. Make sure and get that nice opening there. Exhale back to downward facing dog. Nice full breath in. Make sure the feet are parallel. Check in. If those toes are turned out, turn them forward. Press back as you exhale. Draw those heels down toward the earth deeper. Good. From here, let's go ahead and walk the feet back up toward the hands or jump, whatever you want. On your inhale, lengthen. And on your exhale, fold in. Bend your knees back to Utkatasana. Navel in, hips down, hands up, shoulders down. Take a breath. Hands together. Inhale, stand up. Full breath if you want. Take a little back bend as you exhale, hips forward, thumbs back. Back to center as you breathe in. And lower the hands slowly back to the center of your chest. Take a moment to breathe. Find that place of steadiness and comfort. Remember, back to Tadasana. Think about Tadasana being a place of presence. Whether your hands are at heart center or down by your sides. Every time you're standing on your mat, think about cultivating presence, intention even. Think about connecting to the body, connecting to your breath. Why are you here standing on the mat in this moment? What is it that you want to get out of standing on this mat? All right, what is it that you're cultivating? What is it that you're connecting with? All right, you guys, from here, we're gonna step left foot back or whichever side, I guess, you wanna make sure you're facing the screen. So go or facing whatever side you're looking at the screen. So we're gonna open up into a straddle. All right, let's go ahead and bring both toes to face forward. So check in with the front and back of your mat also. Very important not to have your feet turned out. If you can, go ahead and square the outsides of the feet to the outsides of the mat. So checking in again. Hands to your hips. On your inhale, you're going to draw the elbows back. Now, pulling up on the muscles of the base of your pelvis, I want you to almost feel like you're squeezing your feet in toward one another, pulling your inner thighs in toward one another, and then pressing your hips forward. So you're kind of spiraling in and opening back to find that back bend a little bit. Inhale, and then exhale, keeping that lifting from the earth as you take it forward. Try not to bring your butt far back behind you if you can. Keep the core nice and tight and start to slowly bring your chest out in front. Now, if your hamstrings are really tight, you might need to bend your knees here. Coming forward, and then we're going to bring the hands down to the ground. Now, again, if your hamstrings are tight, that's okay to work with soft knees or finding a yoga block or 2 blocks. Find a little bit of a lift. All right, you can open up your legs as well. Very, very important. I want you to see if you can keep that back flat. So if you find that you round your back here, that's because your hamstrings are probably really tight. Bend your knees a little. Again, work on sticking your butt out, even if you start to shake, all right? And I know what that's like because I haven't always had open hamstrings. So if you're shaking, that's okay. Eventually you get a little straighter, a little straighter, a little straighter, and then one day you're straight and your spine is extended and it feels amazing, all right? So we're gonna take a breath in and then exhale, start to fold. Go ahead and walk your hands back, head down toward the earth. It doesn't have to be that deep. Just keep the spine long. Breathe. Elbows pull in. As you exhale, head goes down. Good, let's go ahead and walk those hands forward a little bit. So coming to a nice long spine again. Now we're gonna walk over to this right foot. Okay, now what I'm gonna invite you to do is turn the right toes out a little bit. As you do that, we're gonna drop into that right leg. As you drop into the right leg, you're going to flip your left toes up. So watch, left toes go up, dropping into that right hip if that's possible, getting a nice stretch into that right side. Breathing there, you can bring your hands from the ground to the center of your chest. If you can balance here, you can also bind. I know that's a little trickier. So wherever you are in this, nice breath. Left toes are flexed. And we're going to switch sides. Hands can come down. Go ahead and walk yourself to the left. Right toes come up as you work on sinking down into this left side. Now, if you can't get all the way down, that's okay. Working eventually to get that left heel down. Leaning into this left hip. Shoulders pull back. You can also bind if you did it on the other side. Make sure those right toes are still flexed and up toward the ceiling. Nice full breath in. And then exhale. Hands back down to the ground, coming back up to center. Now today, I want you to walk over to this right foot, swivel that right foot to face forward, and then go ahead and flip your left heel up, okay? Lower down to that back knee and untuck your back toes. Now go ahead and walk that right foot out to the right a little bit. Like we did at the beginning, right hand is going to come to the inside of the foot, but this time I want you to turn the right toes out a little and roll onto the outside of the right foot. So you're going to get into a different part of the hip. So the right knee is actually going to fall a little bit away from that shoulder. All right, and then you can move right and left, breathing, feeling your way through this. Now, if you have a sensitive knees and you feel this at all in your back knee, you can always roll up the edge of your mat or put an extra towel or something underneath your knee there. Next option is to come down to your forearms, you guys. So you can always lower down to one elbow or both. Good. Nice and slow with the breath. Slowly coming back up when you're ready, taking your time, walking back up to your hands. Good. Bring that right knee back in toward the tricep. You can come out of that a little bit and then press into your left toes, tucking the back toes under, lift up, and we're going to switch. So from here, turn your left heel in, walk over to the left side, left toes turn back, right heel turns up, lower down to the back knee. From there, untuck your toes, let your left knee come out a little bit. Remember, left foot is to the outside of your left hand, and let the hips drop. Let the shoulders draw back, soften the upper body, and again, you can lower down to one or both forearms. Let your head fall, maybe your eyes close. Deepen your breath, feel your hips sway if you'd like, or stay still, but just feel. Feel what your hips, what your body is needing here. Good, we're going to slowly come back up, taking your time. Walking back up to the hands, bring the left knee into the tricep, tuck your back toes under. One more time, lift your back knee, turn that right heel in, come back to center one more time. So turn your toes in or forward, okay, back to where we were before. One more time, inhale, find that flat back. So lengthen chest forward, nice flat back. On your exhale, take it in. So maybe you find a little more depth now. Going ahead and bringing the head down toward the earth, sits bones up toward the sky, pulling your elbows in. If you'd also like to grab the outsides of your ankles, big toes, or feet, it's up to you. Nice breath in. Exhale. Nice and complete. Slowly coming back to center. Bringing the hands back underneath the shoulders. From here, we're going to bring hands to hip creases. Soften your knees a little, so bend in the knees just a little bit to find a flat back. Lift your chin from your chest. Hands to hip creases. Strong legs, strong core. Pulling yourself back up to a standing position. Nice and slow. Now, if you're dizzy, please feel free to come back down to the ground. Don't want you to pass out. Otherwise, if you're here and you're feeling stable, hands to the lower back. Again, pulling the navel in and up, pulling the floor of the pelvis in and up. Hips forward, elbows back, a little back bend, and back up to center. Take a moment to breathe. Very good. From here, you guys, go ahead and turn right foot toward the front of your mat, or whichever side the front of your mat is, I guess, huh? Step your left foot a little over to the left. So from here, if you can see my feet, they're not in the same line. Right foot is forward, left foot is a little over to the left, so the feet are hip width apart, okay? Hips and shoulders squaring forward. If you work with a yoga block or your hamstrings and hips are very tight, I would suggest working with one. Go ahead and grab it. We're going to bring right hand to the sacrum. Right hand comes behind you to the sacrum. Left hand is going to reach up to the sky. If you have a yoga block, you can hold on to it. Grounding through both feet. Right foot is forward, left foot to a 45-degree angle. You're going to reach that left hand out in front. Micro bend that right knee so you're not hyperextending it. Then you're going to bring left hand down underneath the shoulder to start. Whether it's on the ground, on a block, on any of these heights, okay, you're already going to feel it in that right hamstring if you're working on extending the chest forward like me, pulling the shoulders back. The more open you get in the hamstring and hip, obviously the lower that hand can come. Now eventually this left hand will also come to the inside or to the outside of your right foot. We're going to start to turn. Use your breath. Right shoulder starts to stack on top of left shoulder. Gaze starts to go up toward that right shoulder, or past the right shoulder rather, to the ceiling, and then eventually the right hand comes up. So we're in revolved triangle pose or Parivrtta Trikonasana. Open up the hand, open up those fingers, and try pulling your right hand up toward the sky. So as if someone is actually pulling your wrist up to touch the ceiling. Now also press that right hip back behind you at the same time. Both legs straight if possible. One more breath in. And exhale, look down. Right hand comes to the ground. Go ahead and just fold into your right leg. Let it all go there. Nice full breath. And remember what I said about it not being easy, but we don't have to show it in the face, right? So we can be having a challenge, but in that moment we can also soften into that challenge. So practicing that softness within that edge or challenge. Folding into that right hamstring. Let that be a nice relief, a nice reward. From here, we're going to come back up nice and slow, pressing firmly into the right big toe, lifting the chin from the chest. You can bend that right knee a little over the ankle, coming forward slightly. Hands to your hip creases, and press yourself back up off of that right leg. Take a moment. If you want a little back bend, if it feels good for you, you can do a slight little baby back bend there. And we're going to switch. So left toes back, right foot a little out to the right. Find your stability. Very important. All right, we don't just whip ourselves into these poses, although sometimes we flow a lot in Vinyasa. All right, we're always finding the alignment first and then flowing with the alignment. So right toes out to 45 degrees, left toes are straight forward. You could draw a straight line through your right hip and left hip. All right, if you're working with a block, grab it in your right hand up, left hand to the sacrum. Reach forward as you inhale, nice and long. Pull your left hip back. Microbend the left knee if you need to. Don't want to hyperextend the leg, and then you're going to bring the right hand down. Eventually, this right hand again will come right to the inside of the foot or to the outside of the foot, and I'm only using a block to show you how to use it, otherwise you can bring your hand down. But what I want more than anything, you guys, is a long spine. So just because you can bring your hand down doesn't mean you're in the pose. If you're like this is no bueno. I want you to be extended. So extending your left hip back, extending the chest forward and the crown of the head forward, finding that length through both the leg and the spine. Then you can start to turn to the left, shoulder comes over shoulder, left shoulder stacking on top of right shoulder, left hand reaches up toward the sky, nice open palm, breath is flowing, so important. So we could be here and straining and holding the breath and clenching the jaw, and then we wouldn't be in the pose. We would just be yoga modeling, right? We want to inhale, fully feel the belly, and exhale. Feel the opening. Feel all of the things happening. Be present with them. Find the softness in the challenge. One more breath. And then exhale, we take it down. Nice and slow, no rush. As gracefully as we come in, also come out. Soften and melt into that left leg. You can bend your knee a little bit. Allow yourself to be draped over the leg. Let your head hang like a bowling ball. Feel the nice traction in the back of the neck through the cervical spine. Very good. And just like we did on the other side, we're going to start to come out of it. Fingers pressed down. Lift the chest. Press into your left big toe. Hands to the hips. Coming back up. If you feel like a back bend there, you can do a slight back bend just to engage the core. Countering, opening, and back to center. And then we're going to swivel back to face the front. Now your right foot should be forward. And we're going to move like a ninja. I always like to say that. Just move like a ninja or move with control. We're going to step left foot to right foot, floating. So inhale, hands come to heart center like you're moving through water or slow motion, left foot to right foot, back to our Tadasana. As we exhale into presence, maybe the eyes close, maybe tucking the chin toward those fingertips, and taking a moment again to honor that place of presence and intention. Remembering our yoga practice is so sacred. It's a sacred practice. We're not just doing exercise, we're connecting to the temple that is this body, to the kingdom that is life itself, our heart, our life force, our breath. When you're ready, go ahead and lift your heart and your gaze. Soft, friendly eyes. Good. Release your hands. We're going to come to Utkatasana. Bend your knees, take the hips. Inhale, sweep the earth, reach to the sky. Nice full breath, open hands, open heart. Exhale, take it forward. Uttanasana, all the way out. Come up halfway as you breathe in. Lengthen the spine. Bring the palms to the earth. You can step or jump back to plank. Let's move through a vinyasa. Lower down, exhale. Nice and strong. Come through upward facing dog. Inhale. Pressing into the tops of the feet. Exhale back. Downward face. Very good. Let's come through to a seated position. So come to the front of your mat however you would like to. You can jump, crawl. I'm not going to do anything fancy. I just came down to a seat. So I felt inspired to also share you guys, it's not about the amount of poses you do in a practice, right? It's the quality of the pose that you do, or rather the quality that you put into each pose. So let me check my time here because I'm assuming, yep. The yoga classes or practices that you do can sometimes only be a few poses, but if you put everything into, all your attention and intention into those poses that you're doing, you can sometimes get more out of the yoga practice than if you were just going through a bunch of poses as fast as possible. So my personal practice, like I told you at the beginning, is being present with whatever energy is going through my body at that time. So today I'm noticing we're spending more time going slower, and I'm hoping that you're finding the benefit in this as well. All right, so here we are in a seated position. Let's get into the hips a little bit more. I'm gonna face you guys. Let me just turn my mat toward you a little more. All right, so we're gonna come into Gomukasana. Let's start by bringing, see if we can do this. If you need a pillow or yoga mat, or a yoga block rather, I'm gonna have you put it to the side. Start by bending the right knee. So both legs start straight, bend the right knee, and let's place the right foot to the outside of the left thigh. All right, now from here, you're gonna roll to the left, bend the left knee, and essentially we're coming into a seated twist position, or Ardha Matsyendrasana. Now, if this is already difficult for you, then maybe you can stay here. Otherwise, if possible, what we're gonna do here is try to come forward a little bit. So you're gonna open up those feet out to the side, come forward and stack the right knee over the left. So get those knees a little tighter and then sit back. Okay, now if that was difficult for you, you can use a block or a pillow, stick it under the hips, find a little more elevation, and you'll see right knee is easier stacked on top of left, and you are a little more comfortable. Okay, so again, it's totally up to your body and where you're at in this. If just being here is difficult enough, then you can just be here and work on pulling that right knee in, pulling the shoulders down, and maybe even leaning forward a little bit. I know that's going to be beneficial for you as well. If you're in Gomukasana, like so, or even flat, all right, go ahead and sit there, working on maybe rocking back a little bit, feeling the hips that way, and then also leaning forward. Now eventually we're all going to try to fold forward. So take a nice deep breath wherever you are, pull those shoulders back. There is an arm bind that goes along with this. I'm not going to do it unless you want to, go ahead. Otherwise, exhale, start to lean forward. So bringing the chest over that right knee, and then eventually the head will also drape over the knee. I'm going to take the block out from underneath me so I can get a little more even here, because I can do it without the block. Just showing you. So letting the head drape over that knee. Now your arms can rest. They can be forward, palms facing up, or they can be backed up by your sides. whatever you want to do here, we'll take a few breaths, just melting into those hips. Full belly breath in. That means your belly's inflating even into your thighs, and then exhale, melting. Now, if you want to come a little deeper into this, whether you're in the seated twist position or Gomukhasana like myself, you can come out of it a little and bring your left elbow to the outside of your right knee and turn a little to the right, bringing palm over palm into a prayer position, pressing into that right palm and going ahead and turning over that right shoulder. As you do that though, make sure you pull the shoulders back and lift your chest. Crown of the head reaches out away from the earth, looking up over that right shoulder again, breathing. Finish your twist with an exhale and slowly come back to center. Lean back, come out of it, uncross your legs. Let's roll through. You can come out to the side if your knees do not allow that. Otherwise, roll through. Legs back. We'll find a vinyasa. Nice breath in. Exhale, lower. Inhale, upward face or cobra. Back to downward facing dog. And we'll come back through to a seated position to do the other side. So go ahead and find your way back to the front of your mat, and we're going to do the left side. So right leg is going to come forward, left foot steps to the outside of your right thigh. Hug that knee in, roll to the right, bring your right heel up towards your left hip, and again pulling that knee in. So this might be your option, just getting a nice hip stretch. Same thing too, you can always prop yourself up on a block here if it's easier for you. All right, otherwise we're working on getting left knee to stack on top of right this time. So get those knees on top of one another, get those feet out to the side. If your hips are really tight, put something underneath them. Maybe press into the knees as you round your back in a little cat spine first. And then in the opposite direction, bringing your pelvis forward, opening up, nice open heart, deep breath in. And then as you exhale, melting forward. Going ahead and taking it forward, letting your head drape over the knee. Again, palms can be facing up, out in front, or back. We'll take a couple long belly Ujjayi breaths here. If we were doing a yin practice, you could hold this position for up to 5 minutes, maybe longer, even 10 minutes. Go into deep meditative state here. So much magic happens when we get into these deep reservoirs. You can stay here, or like we did on the other side, find your way into a little twist, bringing right elbow to the outside of the left knee. Bring your palms together and turn to the left. So as you do that, again, lengthen the spine. It means lift the heart, pull the shoulders back, stack the elbows wide, look over that left shoulder so you're getting a twist all the way up into the cervical spine. So from the tailbone to the top of the head, twisting even with the eyes, because where we look, our energy also goes in that direction. Deep breath in, exhale, shoulders back, finish the twist. Come back to center, lean back into the hips, uncross those knees, cross the ankles, roll through if it's okay. Otherwise, bring your legs out to the side, come through, and let's vinyasa, clearing the spine. Feel free to modify, keeping the knees down, but bring those shoulders forward. So again, always in a Chaturanga, elbows in, don't let them go out, elbows stay in. You can come to Cobra or Upward Facing Dog. Again, remember, Cobra, elbows in, shoulders back, pelvis stays down, chest is extended forward, maybe chin is drawing forward and out. Upward Facing Dog, we're always lifting, following that nice big back bend, and pressing back, downward face. So good. Very nice, you guys. Let's come back through to a seated position, finding our way forward on the mat. Good. I want to do a little bit of quad stretching before we come all the way down and find our way into Shavasana. So let's go ahead and extend those legs forward first. bring your left hand out to the left and roll to the left hip. As you roll to the left hip, you're going to swing that right foot back behind you, bending that right knee. Now again, you have to be really sensitive with your knees here. Anatomy is also particular here. So some people can keep their knees together. Some you might want to open up that knee out to the side. Very important here. I want to show you, don't let your foot come out like so. If you can, pull that right foot back a little bit and then start to lean back onto that left hand. All right, first option, just lean back. You might feel the stretch happening already. Second, you can come down to that left elbow or forearm. I'm going to swivel again one more time so you can see that. Third option, of course, is to lay all the way back so you can scoot yourself down. And if that right knee doesn't come off the ground, that's cool. You want to make sure to keep that right knee down. Feel a nice big stretch through that right quad and hip flexor. That's where we want it, not in the knee. So if you need to come out of this, come up. Don't come so deep. Second option, if you want a little more, bend the left knee, place the left foot down to the ground, and use that left foot maybe as leverage to find a little deeper stretch there. If you're still wanting more, okay, you can always lift your left foot from the ground and pull the left knee in, or even extend the left foot up toward the sky. Please understand, again, this is not a competition. You're always doing whatever your body needs at any given moment. So just because you can get into something doesn't mean you have to. I want you to feel what your body is asking for, what it can benefit the most from in this moment. Breathe with it. Respect your body's edges today. And if you need to come out of it before I say, of course, do so. Otherwise, we're going to take one more breath here. Good. We're going to come out of it the same way you went in, so finding the same order, coming back up. If you reclined, rolling to the left, swiveling the right foot out from underneath you. Now flex your right foot. I want you to straighten the right leg, traction that knee, flex that right foot, flex that leg, and then go ahead and float it down to the ground, okay? And we're going to do the other side. Roll to the right hip, place your right hand to the outside of you, swivel left foot back. Open up that knee a little if you need to. Some of you might already be getting a stretch just by leaning back, okay? Second option, you can lower to the right elbow, tuck the tailbone, that means scoop the hips under. As you do that, as you bring the lower back down toward the ground, now you're going to feel it in that left quad and hip flexor. You might not need to come down any further. And if you want, of course, lay down. So again, we're just bringing energy into this area, opening up the psoas. Such an important muscle in the body to keep open. Also helps the lower back. Sometimes when we have lower back pain, often when we have lower back pain, it's coming from the psoas being tight. Females, menstrual cycles also are affected by tight psoas. All right, whatever you did on the other side, if it's okay, unless you have any knee injuries or anything that you're, being mindful of course, see how much you can match both sides. But I'm always a believer, well, I should say I've always been a believer that the body has its own intelligence, obviously, and will let us know what it needs. So sometimes you don't have to be completely matched in everything you're doing. I would even suggest really, really listening to your body, because sometimes it's trying to find balance, so it might not do exactly the same on both sides. As long as that you're not avoiding something just because it's tight is all I would suggest. Sometimes when it's tight is we really need to spend a little more time on that one side. Okay, but it doesn't mean you need to force yourself into the same position you did on the other side. Couple breaths wherever you are. Long, quality Ujjayi breaths. Especially when we start to get into these deep reservoirs, I like to close my eyes a lot and feel and listen to what information is being stored there as well. When you're ready to come out of it, same way you went in, nice and slow, in the same order, coming up gently, rolling to the right, and swinging your left leg out from underneath, flexing the foot. The cat's meowing. Good, and then floating that leg down. Now from here, we're going to come into our forward fold. So go ahead and find your way on the mat. Scoop the flesh from your sits bones, legs out in front, nice strong legs. So if you can, keep those feet active and spread. Hands down by your sides to elongate the spine first. Let's find some integrity in the bandhas. If you're not familiar with some of these terms I'm using, by the way, in this class, there's other videos in my page that break down different levels of the Hatha Yoga practice, everything from breath to philosophy in different terms in a Hatha Yoga practice, to the poses. Okay, so let's go ahead and find the length through the upper half of the body, find the length through the lower half of the body, and then reach the hands up. Inhale, extending them through the fingers, and exhale, taking it forward, grabbing whatever you can, even if you're using a strap or something, and then inhale, find a little more length again, and exhale, fold. Stay in your fold for a few more breaths. Nice breath in, create some space. Keep the toes active. Exhale, melt and fold. Couple more, nice long inhale. Exhale, fold. One more if you can here. Nice inhale in. And exhale, melt in. Slowly start to come out of it, walking your hands up the legs or by your legs. Bring your hands back behind you. We're going to do a little counter. Open up the feet about hip width apart. Point your toes on your inhale. I want you to lift up, pressing into the heels. See if you can get the feet flat. Maybe the toes come down. Open the chest. If it's comfortable for you, drop the head back. One more breath. Press up those hips a little more. And exhale, slowly lowering down, tucking the chin, coming forward on your mat. Scooting those hips forward, bring your hands out in front of you and roll slowly down with control. So this is where we get to really work those inner abdominal muscles. Instead of just rolling past those shaky points, you want to roll past. Imagine someone's pressing down your feet or call over your partner, your boyfriend, your husband, your wife. Have them press down on your feet and then slowly roll down. Say, honey, get over here, help me out. Or not, maybe I can have my cat help me. All the way down. And go ahead, and when you're all the way down, stretch out on the earth. Go ahead and lengthen your body. Take a deep breath and just relax for a moment. Let the earth hug you. Let yourself feel the length of your spine, the work you've put in through this practice. Oh, cat. Come on, come in here. No? No, you don't want to come in? No? Okay, you just want to meow at me. All right, you guys, we're going to draw the knees back into the body. So from where you are, go ahead and pull those knees back in, hug them in, roll a little left and right. Keep your head down now. Going to keep it nice and relaxed from this point on. Go ahead and come to center. Flex your feet. Press your left foot down away from that right knee. Pull the right knee in for one breath. And then we're going to go ahead and twist to the left. Now, option, you can keep your right knee over to the left like so in a nice final twist. Or if you want to, you can slide your left knee up underneath your right knee. Find your legs in a bind and twist. That's a nice option too, allowing your left leg to help your right knee to come down toward the ground. Couple breaths. Let your left hand also assist your twist, bringing your left hand to your right knee as you twist. Turning and looking past your right hand with your gaze. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, relax. We'll come to center. Look up. Bring yourself back to center. Unwind the legs. Pull them into the body for one breath as you exhale. And we're going to flex the foot. Right foot presses down away from the left knee. Left knee draws in and up for one breath out. And then go ahead and twist to the right. So left knee to the right, left arm out to the left. You can stay there, or again, like we did on the other side, or I did at least, you can also slide the left knee up under the right and bind the foot behind the calf. That would be left foot behind right calf. Right hand on top of left knee, looking to the left. Breathing. So essentially the left shoulder is working its way down toward the ground, getting a big stretch across the chest there. Left knee is working its way down toward the ground as well. Finish a nice relaxed exhale. Come back to center, looking up, pulling your legs back into the body. Exhale, squeeze them in. Keep your head down, shoulders are pulling down. Bring your feet down to the ground, hip width apart, toes forward, feet are parallel. So again, toes are forward. Scoop the shoulders underneath you. So press into the back of your head a little, wiggle a little right and left so the shoulders come underneath. Fingertips are reaching forward toward your feet. And from here, we're going to press into the feet and press the hips up toward the sky. So keep the hips scooping in, inner thighs scooping in, lifting up. All right, finding your way into bridge. Now chin stays in neutral. That means don't look to the right or left here. Continue to lift and press up. Your feet should be under your knees. So if you're feeling like your feet are way out in front, go ahead, pull them back a little bit underneath your knees and press up. Now from here, clasp your hands underneath your back. And if you can, wiggle a little more right and left and see if you can get those elbows underneath you and toward one another a little more. So shoulders are really pulling in toward one another. Drawing the knuckles toward the feet and pressing your hips up toward the sky at the same time, and breathing. Breathing right into the belly. Sternum is lifting up toward your chin. Inhale, full belly. Exhale, empty. Inhale, really filling the belly with breath. Exhale, empty. And if you can, one more time, full breath in. And exhale, slowly unclasp your hands, and as you exhale, lower down one vertebra at a time. Coming onto your back and resting for a moment. You can let your arms just rest. Maybe let your knees fall together. Take a moment closing your eyes, feeling the spine elongated across the earth, eyes closed, shoulders are resting back on the earth, palms are open. Maybe feeling that pulsing energy in the palms. A slow, present breath. Feeling the rise and fall of your navel as you breathe. And then very slowly, we're going to go ahead and let your right knee come down toward the center of the mat. You can walk your feet out wider if you need to. Right knee comes down toward the center of the mat. Left knee moves a little to the left. Switch. Left knee down toward the center of the mat. Doesn't need to touch. We're just giving the outsides of the hips a little more of a stretch. Moving nice and slow, coming back to center. Bring the feet together. Let the knees come out to the side now. And bring your hands up over your head. Elbows fall out to the side. You can interlace your fingers if you'd like to. Otherwise, just let those elbows drop out to the side. Close your eyes here and breathe. Relaxing the body, keeping the breath flowing, filling the navel as you breathe in, feeling your belly rise to the sky, gently relaxing as you exhale. Stay with that for a few more breaths. And then go ahead and slowly extend your legs down toward the earth, maybe keeping your eyes closed. Extend your arms down by your sides. Press into the back of your head. Pull your shoulder blades down underneath you so the heart is open, the front of the heart. You can bring your arms out to the side too if you want, wherever they're comfortable. Open up your legs a little bit. You can turn your toes in just a little bit and then exhale, let them flap out to the side. You can turn your head gently right and left. And then find a neutral place at the center. And maybe one more time, pressing gently into the back of your head. Maybe into the back of your hands a little if you want to. Just take a breath in. And then exhale. Let everything melt. Let your entire body completely relax now. All the muscles, bones, tendons, ligaments. Your eyes, let the eyelids close. Let them relax. So don't squint them closed. Just completely relax your eyelids. Let your jaw muscles relax. Let your tongue relax. Let your forehead relax. All the muscles of your belly, your pelvis, your hips, and your glutes. Softening and releasing all the muscles and the greatest muscle of all, the mind. No control of the breath. Allow it to be natural. Just observing complete stillness of the body. Allowing your breath to become more and more natural. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om. All that rises from perfection, therefore, is perfect, even if perceived differently. The perfect always remains. Om Tat Sat. All of this is that. Starting by allowing your next breath to be a little deeper than your last. Filling the belly and the heart space with an inhale, and then maybe taking your time with a very, very slow exhalation. Wiggling the fingers and toes as you come back. Maybe a stretch, like a good morning stretch. And as you are ready, rolling yourself into a little ball. A little right and left rocking, maybe all the way to one side, whichever side is calling to you in this moment today, here in this practice. Taking a moment of honor and reverence and gratitude for this body doing whatever it did today, regardless of your judgment of it. Of course, we hope that there was no judgment, just observation and witness. Sending it gratitude for whatever activity it can do. Sometimes just laying on the mat and breathing for 90 minutes is a beautiful, honorable feat. Come up to a seated position as you're ready. And we'll finish in our prayer position, hands together at heart center, bowing your head toward the heart center. Taking a moment of gratitude here. In your mind's eye, anything or anyone, any particular teacher or teachers that you would like to honor in this space. It can be situation, it can be a person, both living in the body or transcendent of body or form. It can be a challenge. Honoring all those who have supported us along this journey. And then also offering our love from our heart, our peace that we cultivate through this practice as an offering to all those who could also benefit from it. And remembering that it is through us cultivating that peace within ourselves and reconnecting with it that we are of the highest service. If we do not have that place of peace and equanimity within ourselves, if we can't hold that space for ourselves, then we can't hold it for others. So honoring that place within yourself, being there as much as possible. When we forget, remembering again, coming back to it again and again and again. That is why we do this practice. Thank you, thank you, thank you, guys, for coming here, finding your way to this page, however you did, and doing this practice with me, whether it was tonight or in the future. I honor you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Namaste. All right, that's it from yoga at home with Om. Okay, you guys, if you're here with me now, I can't see who's here, of course, but thank you again for being here. If you'd like to donate to the class, I usually hold Sunset Beach Yoga by donation, but if you'd still like to, for whatever reason, I'll put a link for my Venmo, which is my name. I also have PayPal, which is my email address. It's jessicaom108@gmail.com. I'll write that down in the video description here in a second. Any other announcements? I'll put on the Sunset Beach Yoga Facebook page. I do have some announcements if you happen to stumble upon this and didn't get my announcements from earlier in the evening. This class was in lieu of Sunset Beach Yoga being canceled because of the weather, which actually sounds beautiful out there now with the falling rain and no more thunder. But Thank you again for being here, and I appreciate you for being here as well. And I hope you all have a wonderful moment, evening, week, year, life. Namaste.